So yesterday we were looking for a short squeeze within the crypto market, and we got exactly that. We took a couple of trades in the whale room Discord. I'll update you on those today, one of which was the Sonic or Phantom trade, and that met the final TP very, very quickly. So we'll look at today's show content and have a look if there is any trade setups, right? Expect that there will be some pullbacks following such massive pumps within the market. You can already see Sonic coming down ever so slightly. We also have Jito coming down slightly. So we'll have a look at this. We'll have a look at what you can expect next for Bitcoin, since we have got our first candle close above the high volume point of control, that high volume area that we've been looking at for quite some time, which is some good news. So smash the like button, hit the bell notification, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, and let's get straight into it. Quickly checking out the stock market. You can even trade John Deere, the tractor, if you guys do one. Everything is listed over there. So we're seeing some changes here within the sentiment within the market, which is what we said exactly would be the case if you saw Bitcoin starting to get towards that $100,000 mark. And remember, February is typically a very, very strong month. Now, February is not over yet. A lot can happen in the next 9 to 10 days before we get the monthly close. Right now, we're down about 4%. We're down much, much more than that. We've only seen 2 other Februaries before, which turned out to be bearish. So, again, the law of averages, right? Have a look at the law of averages. It does tend to repeat when it comes to the markets. Now, we're looking at the big deviation on the DXY. If we look over here, we had another beautiful candle towards the downside, a full-bodied red candle all the way down. This has shifted things pretty drastically, right? So we'll see if we get continuation of this, but this looks very, very heavy. You have broken into yet another lower low, which is a good thing. A new swing low over here, taking out this key level on the left-hand side, and that's exactly what we wanted to see. Now we need to start to challenge some of these low levels over here. Of course, there will be support along the way, right? You do have to look towards those mid-range levels, which is going to be some interim support coming in around this next major pivot point for the DXY, around that 103 mark. So we'll monitor this as things unfold in the coming days, but a lot can be done in that environment. You can start to see some big moves over there. We have the Coinbase chart over here with a potential long setup, a very, very tight risk to reward ratio over here. Will tight stop loss in the sense of playing out this big risk to reward ratio, but something to pay attention to. You don't have to blindly just long, but do keep an eye out on it as you do watch it oscillate around this region. If it can start to defend this low at 241, that could be an opportunity to get some exposure to Coinbase. We're looking at the USDT dominance. Same thing, waiting for the break inside over here. I would expect that there should still be another spike up at some point to set in a lower high, but really we want that acceptance to be gained under 4.3%, and that should bring some fireworks back into the market. A lot of people have lost patience, right? It does come down to patience when it comes to playing these markets. And you can see it over here, right? The 4-year or the cycle with 4 ranges and expansions over the 4 major bull market phases that we've had within crypto. You do spend a lot of time going sideways, right? If you look over here within this bull run, well, we've had over here 192 days, and then suddenly you get rapid expansion, right? 3 days up to break out of the trading range, 5 days to mark up to the new highs, and then you spend another 62 days ranging, 5 days up to break out of the range, and just 4 days to essentially create those highs. And then you lead into the next trading range for 238 days. 3 days up to break out of the trading range, another 3 days to mark up to create the new range high and create your new trading range, right? So basically, it happens quick. The risk comes back into the market very, very quickly. And this is why you want to keep your finger on the pulse and you never want to leave. This is a business, right? If you want to make money seriously in crypto, you have to keep your finger on the pulse, right? You need to stay within the market. So the expansion time is around 5.76 months, and the expansion burst, which is probably what generates your dopium levels and excitement within the market, happens over about 32 days from the low to the point where the highs are set, right? So that is food for thought over there. We have seen the short squeeze take place, right? If you look over here, most of the liquidations have been from short traders, 170 million over there over the last 24 hours. And if we look at this, well, this is supporting evidence because in the last 24 hours, we saw most of this has been driven by leverage, right? The last 24 hours, the open interest has absolutely massively shot up towards the upside. So it's a leverage-driven pump. We need to see spot buying come in to defend this. Otherwise, you have the possibility of a trap scenario. I'll show you what the levels look like in terms of the trap scenario. I think it's around that $101,000, $102,000 level where you need to be careful, right? So one of the things that you can do to assess if it is going to be really driven by spot, or you can look at the cumulative volume deltas and what the spot buyers are doing, and you can also just look at the volume on the daily time frame. Is the rally happening on low volume, or is the rally happening with increasing volume? We typically want to see increasing volume, right? Anyway, continuing on, we did capitalize on that short squeeze. So we put our money where our mouth is. Within Whale Room, you can see our traders there crushed it. Here's Sui getting it pretty much near the lows over there, reclaiming the Monday high, and now up 60% over there. That was one trade. The other trade was on Phantom from the lows. This was also a trade that I took. So really, really looking good over there. We'll talk about Phantom as well in today's show. You know, some potential pullback levels that you can look out for. Daily exchange volume is still declining. This is part of what could set in a little bit of a bull trap in the short term, right? It's very important to understand the time frames that you're trading. You know, are you a low time frame leverage trader? Are you a scalper? Are you a low or shorter term swing trader? Or you're a long term momentum trader or swing trader / investor that's looking at holding for months to even years? You need to differentiate your various different portfolios, your various different accounts, and also box yourself in what you find to work best for you, right? I trade multiple different types of trading, multiple different hats, depending on which accounts I'm looking at. So when it comes to the longer term, well, you'd want to see the volume increase, right? Otherwise, in the short term, as a short-term swing trader playing the move from the lows to the highs, you'd be looking for a little bit of weakness. If the volume doesn't pick up over here, then you can exit those positions and look to re-enter possibly a little bit lower. So Bitcoin dominance continues to rise over here. At least the bulls are still in control, at least in my opinion. Close to weakness, but not yet. You're holding this fair value gap over here, consolidating above those moving averages. The MACD is rising over here. So ultimately, the bulls are in control when it comes to the Bitcoin dominance, right? If you look at the Bitcoin weekly time frame, well, we've escaped death over here by holding above the $90,000 region. It's not to say that you can't come back down and test some of those levels. We'll show you what that would look like. But ultimately, starting to turn those weekly stochastic RSIs towards the upside. They're just declining with their strong momentum towards the downside. So I guess if you get over the top side of this trading range at 104,000 and you start to break out, the point is you have a lot of momentum, right? Because these are fully reset. So from 104,000, that's what gets you to that $125,000 to $130,000 price target, which we've had for a long period of time. And we said that's kind of our minimal bull target, right? The lowest bull target. I've kept the at least bullish hopium and hopes alive for you over the last couple of days, suggesting that I definitely do not believe that the bull market is over, right? All right, so let's continue. Same thing over here that we're seeing on the 5-day chart. We're just waiting for that expansion of the Bollinger Band with percentile, which we haven't yet seen. If we look at this time frame over here on the daily, well, there's that first close, right? We officially got a daily candle close above that midpoint over there, the high volume points of control. Now, what you do need to be careful of is we do need to look out for what happens in this zone over here, where excitement comes back into the market, and essentially we labeled it the bulls are back, right? So let's just quickly measure out some of these fib levels over here to get some areas of interest. Let's quickly put that on. So what I'd be looking for over here is towards that 0.618 as well as the 6.65. So let's quickly chuck that on. Let's put on, actually, let's change this fib over here. Let's go to our golden pocket. Let's put that on. So this is going to be the one key area that I'm looking out for, right? I could maybe chuck on as well the 0.786 just as an additional if it does get really heated. But you need to be careful for weakness as you come into this region over here, right? There is, if the volume is declining while price is rising, there is a possibility that you might see something like this, right? Either a spike up into this region or into the 0.786, which could mean for Bitcoin price anywhere between 102,500 to 103,000 as your golden pocket. Or if you really super extend above that towards the range highs, that's going to be about 105,000. On the low time frame, what you want to do is zoom in and look for weakness, because this is still possible, right? If you do reject from here, that could start to look like a lower high. We spoke about this. We said, watch for the short squeeze with the buildup of short traders over here. They don't always get a free ride, right? A lot of them will be watching, are the short traders going to get a free ride all the way down to these low levels, or are they going to get taken out first? And we said probably leaning towards they get taken out first. That's the most likely outcome. So this would be them getting taken out first to create FOMO back into the market above those levels, letting people chase price who got shook out near the lows. And then, yes, you could still theoretically smash back down towards that $83,000 level, and that completes the trap, right? And then you still have the possibility of a Wyckoff accumulation schematic, where if that does happen and it presents a very, very high volume profile in that environment, that will start to look like Wyckoff accumulation. But more on that on another day, right? We're not at that point yet. I'm just outlining some potentials over here, and then we would be have done enough of a shakeout and be ready to continue. So where does that invalidate? Of course, you always have to have an invalidation. This is just a couple of plans that we're coming up with over here. That is one plan. One plan has come up over here, smack it back down, sweep the range lows, take out all of the longs, and then continue the bull run. The alternative would be, of course, you could just hold up over here and you could just melt through if there is rising volume and you break out of the top side of the trading range and volume inclines. Well, then it's going to be looking better, and then maybe you don't get that sweep of the lows and the bottom is in, and that's that. Okay, those are the plans, right? Those are the at least the things that we're looking out for over the coming days and weeks. So let's continue on over here. We're still in the Bitcoin long trade. It's going very, very well. Stops are below there. I said you can move it to break even if you do want to. We're giving the bulls the benefit of the doubt that they would maybe be able to defend this. Now we're getting those closes above the high volume profile over there. If we get 3 candle closes, full body candle closes above this level over here, that's going to be looking really, really good for continuation higher, right? And show that there is momentum in the market. But remember, we are going to be coming into yet another bear moon very, very soon. We've seen the effectiveness of this, and that's why I say be careful of the spike up, right? Be careful of this into there, the excitement leading into the bear moon, and that could smack you back down towards at least the volume gap that we have over here, which lines up with all the fair value gaps at $83,000 to $85,000. So that's part of the planning that we have over there. These are where a lot of the stops are going to be, similar to the short squeeze. The question is, are the bulls over here going to get a free ride to Valhalla? Probably not. Same way that the shorts were not going to get a free ride to Hades. You're probably not getting the bulls with a free ride to Valhalla either before at least taking them out like that. Okay, so we've covered that. That's Bitcoin. Bitcoin on the 4-hour time frame, giving you more low time frame look. Well, we've seen some definite change of character, a little bit of a break of structure as well, because every single time we've rejected, right? You wicked into there, down. Wicked into there in the 200, down, right? Wicked into there on this candle over here. It started to look bad yesterday, but I told the whale room community, I'm looking to continue to hold my long position despite this. Let's give it the benefit of the doubt. And we got a big expansive candle, beautiful, straight through there. And now we've got 1, 2, 3 candles opening and closing. Well, we need to wait for 40 minutes for this one to close, but full open and closed candles, 3 above the 200 EMA. That could be looking good for continuation higher, which means I'm still looking for more long trades, right? So we'll have a look at what those look like. There is your others versus BTC, which is essentially, we don't really want to see it go lower. Of course, it's possible, but in the interim, you might get a little bit of a bounce, right? And that could elicit some altcoins to do very, very nicely. Now, as long as you're working out your risk to reward ratio, this is not a long-term investment or a long-term swing trade, which means you don't have to worry too much about how your coin's performing against Bitcoin, because all that you're doing is you are attempting to work out the risk to reward ratio. You're risking $1 to gain however many dollars, right? So if this does spike up leading to a lower high, then of course it is still possible that in a worst case scenario, you sweep down into that white line, which is your range low. Horizontals tend to have much higher significance than the diagonals, right? Always remember that. Horizontals, for some reason, have a much higher significance when it comes to your TA than the diagonals do. And this is a diagonal. All right, so this is the trade that I took over here yesterday, which we dropped in the whale room. It's one of many. We took quite a few trades. I must say it played out very, very quick. You know, I got filled about on half the size that I wanted to on this trade. I was scaling in all the way down over here. I wanted to see much more or get much more of a position in, but I didn't. And consequently, you know, big spike already took out the previous month's high. So shooting well beyond my expectations over there. And I'm still holding, right? I'm still holding. But we'll look at this now. We'll look at Phantom. We'll see if there are any other, or Sonic at least. I'm just looking at Phantom because it has more price history, right? But it's been a very overextended move. Things can get crazier. I have dropped a couple more trades in there. If you do want those trades, by the way, there's a link in the description below that will take you through to Whale Room. And just below that is Whale School, which we're still doing signups for. I think they actually might be full. But you can try. You can try get in over there. You need to sign up to one of the exchanges, so you can sign up to Bybit, and they'll use that user ID for your verification, right? All right, let's continue on over here. So going on to Phantom. Well, of course, if you are looking to hold this as a longer term play, as a call it investment or long-term swing trade, of course, you want to see Phantom outperforming Bitcoin, right? There is a possibility of that. You can see, of course, well, you've come down into this region over here. You've held that. This is kind of a pivot level, but it is lower lows and lower highs at the end of the day. You're starting to reclaim some of those moving averages. You know, I could also make the argument, I don't really love these kind of structures, especially when it's at all-time lows. But nevertheless, you guys want the bullish hopium. I know it makes you feel good, so we'll still give it to you, right? The bullish hopium would be, you know, you're looking at something like this. Maybe there is this massive falling wedge over here. And if you start to break out of these highs, well, ultimately at that point, against measuring Phantom or Sonic against BTC, if you do start to take out these levels, right, 0.0014, that's the level that I have. That's your break of structure. So what am I doing? I'm not going to chase price on this in terms of like exiting BTC. It can go crazy, right? It can do something like that. At some point, you will get a pullback. That is going to be your safest bet, right? Is to wait for something like that. That's assuming you didn't buy the Pico bottom, which many of our traders in the group did, right? We at least got this trade in place, so we have some exposure. But anyway, going back to Phantom over here, this is the trade. Look, maybe that's going to be the pullback zone over here. This one's wild. We'll give it a little bit more time. If this candle closes under here, I would say that there's a good chance that it's a deviation, which is pretty much right where our TP level is. At this point, we are trailing our stop loss. I said to the Whale Room members, you know, trail it underneath each 4 hour, the previous 4 hour low, which would be this low over here. So if it comes anywhere down there, you're out, right? You're out of the trade. And then we can start to look for pullback levels, right? Where could some of these pullback levels be is the question. This has been a move. This has been a serious, serious move. First thing is, we can't say for certain until we actually have a confirmed top, right? So let's say this was the confirmed top. There's going to be 2 levels that I'm looking for. I'm going to be looking towards the 50% level, as well as looking towards, has this reset? Let's just try that again. I'm going to be looking towards the 50% level, and I'm going to be looking towards the 0.382. It's not changing. Let's quickly do that over there. So 0.382, 50% level. Those are going to be the predominant areas of interest for me personally, which actually takes you back to a very, very similar place to which we previously were at when we took this trade, right? 0.382 would be essentially coming back, round tripping the trade back to entry at 73 cents. And your 50% level, which I really like, that's 50% taken from the ultimate low to assuming this is the ultimate high. And that 50% level does line up, of course, with the yearly open and the previous month's mid-range. And that's going to be a significant point, right? So if you, you know, if you're very, very excited about this, and you're wanting to get into this trade, and you're experiencing, you know, heated sweats and extreme FOMO, well, ultimately, I'd wait for this, right? Just wait for price to come back down over here. Let's quickly line this up over here. So it would be something like this. Okay, let's grab one of our tools. You're looking for something like this, right? If price comes down, sweeps down, you know, even into that 63 level, this is where you're looking for that mid-range support to be found and a major high low to form. So you still have your lows, high low, possibly yet another high low. So that is Sonic. Yes, I know Danielson, Daniel San, my master. I know, I understand that it's now called Sonic, right? I understand. But we're using Phantom because we need enough price history. If I go to Sonic, what can I show you here on Sonic, right? Let's go to Sonic and quickly have a look at that. Where is the Sonic chart on here? Let's just quickly pull this up. USDT. So this, just by the way, the Phantom on Kraken is still trading at the same rate, and that's the reason why I'm looking at that. Here it is, USDT, right? What history do we have to work with? There's nothing. That is why I'm looking at Phantom. Okay, some other ones to have a look at over here is Hype, right? Hype is one that I'm interested in over there, holding around the previous month's mid-range, looking for possible expansion to the previous month's high, and then possibly even beyond that point. I'm also keeping an eye out on SUI over here, reclaiming the previous month's low, breaking that downsloping trend line. These are some opportunities, right? Okay, those are some opportunities. What I want to look at as well is some of the ecosystem plays within Sonic or Phantom. We have Shadow, right? Shadow is absolutely crushing it. Of course, there's going to be, a mispricing, which is currently taking place. In this instance, is a mispricing in the short term towards the upside, right? Overzealous bulls jumping from other chains onto Sonic, which is creating these obvious spikes in things like Shadow, right? But when you get that major pullback on Sonic or Phantom, that's where you can start to look for some opportunities in some of these other coins. So Shadow is the equivalent of Jupiter on Solana, but Shadow is, of course, on Sonic. So let's have a look over here. Let's find Shadow. This is the first time that I'm finding Shadow. So let's see, Shadow. I don't know if this is the right one. Let's see, Shadow USDT. That does not look correct. Let's just say it must be this one. SHD Coinbase. Could it be this one? I'm going to quickly do something here, guys, and just double check. Let's go to CoinMarketCap and let's just double check that we have the right ticker. Shadow. Okay. Shadow token, yes, SHDW. Let's have a quick look at the high time frame overview of the chart. I mean, it kind of looks like, Jupiter and those things where it just oscillates in this massive range. So sitting at a $40 million market cap. And what else do we have? Always remember I can't do it on this one, but always measure against BTC as well. Okay, let's go back to that. So SHW, it is this one after all. And we'll go Shadow Coinbase. Let's go this one over here. Okay, 25 cents. Is this the same one? 25 cents. Yes, it is. All right. I mean, it's all the way at range lows. It's making me feel like this is not the right one because there's too much excitement around this for this to be correct. Let me know in the comments. I'm going to quickly check the comments. That's not the coin. Do your own research. Yes, sir. Please tell me which is the coin. Wrong Shadow. What is the ticker? It's on Sonic Network. Okay. Is it on TradingView? That's the question. Can I find it on TradingView? I'm going to look one more time. Shadow. Let's just see. Crypto. Shadow. All right. Otherwise, I'll do it tomorrow. Dex tools. I can look on Dex Screener. Goku as well, reclaiming the bottom of the range low just for what it's worth. $10 million market cap, so not too bad over there. Shadow. Okay, let's have a look at Shadow. It must be this one, right? This one has the most volume. Okay, let's click it. Shadow Exchange V2. Yes, this must be the one. Clouds, you guys say this one, right? Let me know in the comments. Is it this one? Okay, Soul Eco. This is... Otherwise, guys, we're going to go into this tomorrow. If it is this one, I mean, this looks mega bullish, right? Okay, you guys say this is the correct one. This looks mega bullish. $42 million market cap. In these environments, when I don't have enough history, all I can do is look at how many candles in a row you've had that are green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Typically, between 7 and 9, this thing's going to pull back. I definitely would not chase this. There's absolutely no ways I'd chase this. I'd simply just wait for a top to form and then to create the next higher low. You'll see, like, if it does continue, you'll see some sort of a pullback and it'll probably be deep. Target those 50% levels and then you look for the next major buying opportunity. That's what I'm going to do on this. If I even decide to get, I'm only going to buy it if it's listed on perps anyway on Bybit. Otherwise, I'm probably not going to take the trade. All right. What else? What else have we got over here? Okay, sorry about wasting your time over there. That took quite a while to look for shadow, but we eventually got the right one. Okay, I'm also looking at Pepe over here, you know, grinding it out around these lows. We'll see if this starts to reclaim the previous month's low. That will be pretty big. I definitely think you can see massive, massive pumps over here. Another one I'm keeping an eye out on is 𝗓𝗏. So this is 𝗓𝗏, also dropped in 𝗬𝗏. If you do want those levels, it is in there, but we're looking for a pullback into the fair value gap. For the rest of you out there that are not part of 𝗬𝗏, if you want the exact entries and the strategy to get into it, it's in 𝗬𝗏. All right, NEAR, yes, let's have a look at NEAR. I definitely want to look at NEAR. Why do I want to look at NEAR and all these other coins, right? Because you're clearly seeing this, you know, move from Solana, and people are trying to find a home. Of course, everyone having had been long on Solana, they're all looking for a new home, which is going to be the next Solana. That is what everyone's wondering, right? So they're trying to find positions over there, or trying to find positions in other layer ones. And that's why you're starting to see some of the layer ones pop. I could make the argument for so many of these coins to take a long trade with the potential for a deviation. The market can be very irrational after these big flushes, and essentially people FOMO in, right? So kind of all you want to do is get the position, remove the risk as quick as you possibly can, which is exactly what I'm doing. I've taken a couple of trades already, and you're just looking for the entry point. Get the entry point, remove the risk by moving your stops to break even, and whatever happens, happens. Let the FOMO buyers dictate the price's next move, right? So I could easily make the argument, you know, for a trade like this, everything targeting up towards those previous month's highs. This would be on NEAR over here. You can see, you know, up candle, pause, up candle, pause, pause, and now you're starting the next up candle over here. So pretty much stop below this candle on the 4-hour time frame. That's a nice spot on Thursday, the 20th of Feb at 8 o'clock my time. That would be a price level of about 324, you know. And then if this does start to expand and break above the top side of the trading range, bear in mind you're coming into the yellow box, which is theoretically resistance. But when FOMO buys step in over the course of like the weekend, you know, this price could easily be trading up towards $4. And then all you have to do is this, right? Free trade. That's it. Free trade. Open as many of these different types of trades as you can while managing the risk, right? Key word, you manage your risk. You need to monitor this like a baby and immediately move your stops into break even. And whatever pops, right? We did this with Sonic and we got the trade. So there is opportunities out there, right? And we were doing it with a few other trades. Again, those are all in the 𝗬𝗏 Discord. So I see Lemon says Sonic is the next Solana. Let me know in the comments. There is a poll that I ran, right? You know, what do you think pumps the most over the next 6 months? So let's be a little bit longer term thinking. Let's assume that the next 6 months is the rest of the bull run anyway. Basically, that is the question, right? Which is going to be the top performer? I gave the poll options of Solana. I gave Sonic. I gave Sui. I gave Hype. I could only put 4 options. Otherwise, I'd put more. We could put things in there like, you know, NEAR, 𝗓𝗏. You know, we could put in a whole bunch of things. Let me know in the comments if you think it's something else. I am checking the comments. Okay, you guys say Sui, Sol Peak FUD. Now, that is true, Mark, but remember that they can suppress price for a long time, right? It can take a while. I will be looking for another Solana trade, probably on leverage, right? A big one. But I'm going to wait a little bit longer. Pulse Chain. Okay, we'll see if Richard Hart can pump it hard enough, but he hasn't been too vocal. Maybe if he comes in. Brett, well, that's not layer one, but possibly. XRP. Look, XRP probably has one more pump in it. Fair enough. I think XRP's got another pump in it. What else, guys? What else? Let me know what you think is going to be the next Solana. Will Sol pull back before going up? Yes, I think Sol will have another pullback. Okay, I don't think that, you know, this one will take a bit of time. So it is very, very possible that you get something like this, right? That's why you need to be careful, because especially it depends on what Bitcoin does, right? If this starts to reclaim the yearly open, there's a possibility that the low's in and maybe you come back, test one more time and run it. Otherwise, what could happen is you could see, you know, a bit of a rejection from here and the underside resistance, and then drop down one more time, look towards the next key levels. I would probably be targeting around that 150 region, and then maybe that's going to be a major low. The monthly chart on Solana actually still looks okay. That's your highest time frame for investors sort of bias, right? Okay, 𝗬𝗓𝗓. Yeah, we can have a look at 𝗬𝗓𝗓. Let's see what 𝗬𝗓𝗓 looks like. Guys, please subscribe to this channel if you're not subscribed as well. This is, of course, Crypto Live. I'm sure you guys realize that I wasn't on the other channel. There's probably a bunch of people still sitting there on the other channel. I bet you anything. There's people sitting on the other channel. Let's actually have a look over here. Let's actually have a look how many people are. Look at that, 125 people. Can you believe that? Look there. Just chilling in the waiting room. It literally says, Kyle is live on Crypto Live, and the link is below. Attention, Kyle is live on Crypto Live. Please use the link in the description. 125 people still sitting there waiting. All right, guys. Anyway, let's continue. Let's go on to, we were looking at 𝗬𝗓𝗓, so let's go find that for you. Let's see. Okay, 𝗬𝗓𝗓𝗓. I mean, this has been obliterated, right? This is not the definition of health and fitness. This is more like, obesity and malnutrition. It's got a lot of work to do on this one, but it has come into a key level all the way down at the bottom over here. This is an important zone. You do want to see this hold, but it doesn't have momentum. That's the thing. You need to understand what type of trade you want to take, right? It comes with opportunity cost. So yes, you could buy over here and maybe it will never go below this region. So basically you bought the bottom. But what happens if it does just do this for, the rest of the year? That's what you need to be aware of. So you kind of want to bid things that are showing momentum, that are already in an uptrend, right? So at this point in time, that was a big shift, and look how quickly it happens, right? Huge move very, very quickly, and then it just bled out. So that is 𝗬𝗓𝗓𝗓. That's the levels that I'll be looking at. All right. We will be doing another show tomorrow. That will be on the normal channel, Crypto Banter. So make sure you're there. I think let's cut over there. This has already been 30 minutes. I don't want to be too long. I do appreciate each and every single one of you, though. Jump into Whale Room. Join us over there. Best trading community in the world. And I'll see you on the next one. Have a good day, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Cheers.